So if you're anything like me, you are super inflexible and you want to be able to touch your toes. It's a skill I've never been able to do and I'm really bad at it, but I want to improve that. So I've been talking to a good friend from across the pond, Nathan Unger, who's a personal trainer, and in this video, he's going to give us a few tips to help improve that ability.
And so when it comes to improving and being able to touch your toes, what we need to do is we need to break that down. It's not just about standing up, bending over and touching your toes. We have to think of what segments are preventing us from doing that. So we start with the calves, we move on to the hamstrings, and then we have the hips. There's 3 easy stretches you can do. All right, so when you're stretching your calves, as you can see, you want to be able to prop your toes up off the ground. We're gonna keep that knee straight, and you're just going to lean into the stretch, pulling the toes closer towards your shin. If you're just getting started and you've not done much stretching, you don't want to go in on a too deep of a stretch because that can lead to stiffness and soreness and actually the opposite of what we're going for. So if you were to rate it out of 10, we're shooting for like a 3 or a 4. You want to hold that stretch for about 10 to 15 seconds. Then you can see that we're going to ease up out of it. We're going to give our muscles moments, so that way we can get some fresh blood and oxygen into them, let the muscles relax a little bit. Then we're going to go back into it, and this time we're going to go a little bit deeper. So we're going to go for a 4 or 5. We're going to hold that for another 10 to 15 seconds. Then we're going to repeat. We're going to ease up out of it. We're going to give those muscles a couple seconds to recuperate from that stretch, and then we're going to do that one more time, and this time we're pushing just a little bit further. Again, we're holding for that 10 to 15 seconds. And then you can relax and do the same thing on the other foot. Then when it comes to the hamstrings, so as you can see, you're going to be sitting in your chair. You're going to have one leg stretched straight out in front of you. What you want to do is you want to hold your chest up and squeeze your abs. So what we're doing is we're locking in the hips. So when we lean forward, we're not leaning forward from the back, we're actually pulling those hips forward. That's what's going to stretch out those hamstrings. Just like with the calves, we're going to lean in until we can feel about a 3 or 4. We're going to hold that for about 10 to 15 seconds. Then we're going to ease up out of it. We're going to allow those muscles to kind of relax. We're going to ease into it again pushing a little bit further, holding it for 10 to 15 seconds. Ease out of it. We're going to do the same thing on the other leg. And then for the last one, we're going to be stretching out the side of the hips. So we're going to put ourselves into what we call the figure 4. As you can see, one leg is going to be over the other. And from here, there's a couple different things we can do. You can push that knee closer to the floor and see, hey, are you feeling any stretching in the side of your hips? And if you are, then that's what we're going to be working on. And again, 10 to 15 seconds, ease up out of it. We're going to do that 3 times, each time pushing a little bit further. Then what you do is you keep your knee in place, so you're going to keep one hand on your knee. That's not going to allow it to move. You're going to pull your chest up. You're going to engage your core again, so that way we're really pulling forward from the hips and not from the back. And then you're going to lean your chest down towards your shin until you feel a nice stretch. And we're going to repeat just like what we did with all the other muscles. 10 to 15 second hold, ease up out of it, go a little bit further, ease up out of it, and then one more time. Back into it a little bit further, and then relax, duplicating that for the same thing on the other side. So what you want to remember is we're fighting against our lifestyle here. So consistency is going to be key, because everything else that we do in our daily lives is going to be going against what we're trying to achieve. So making sure that we do this as much and as often as we can, which is why it's nice that you can do it from your desk, because you could do this a couple times throughout the day. At least try and start off with 3 times a week, moving up to every day of the week, and even multiple times during the week.
If you found this content useful, then please subscribe to the channel as it's really helping to grow. And I'll see you in the next one.